Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or older in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
Any resemblance to anybody living or deceased would be the... I've had some people say, you look dead. It's like, yeah. Every day I'm looking closer.
What is it supposed to mean when its actual prize may vary? You're going to get like in a box of Cracker Jacks, you get a little fake tattoo, or you get an actual toy that you can put together. And
They give you a free iPad, but you got to pay taxes, and we got to. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's stipulations.
Okay, I'm going to let you get the
T's and C's. T's and C's may apply.
There you go.
As they say in Australia, terms and conditions may apply. Welcome to this week's episode of Stay Off My Lawn. It's August 11th, 2026, and this is episode number 175. 175.
They just keep ticking off in all 130 countries around the world. We're worldwide stars.
Our latest country to be tuning in was Kosovo. So,
yay!
There is that. I think that's... I mean, they're not war torn anymore, and I think Cuba has their power back on. I haven't seen an update on that, so
it's one of those things where, hey, it's on. Never mind.
Yeah, it was just a flicker. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
happens a lot.
I wonder how many people actually have the internet too, because it's like, a lot of people in Iran do not have the internet right now. They've cut that off, and a lot of these, and say what you will about socialism, they don't like you having the freedom to look at information. So
they don't want you to know what's really going on. They only want you to know what they want you to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're probably still using MySpace over there. I mean,
somebody's bringing that back or bought it, or I don't know. They're wanting to do something with it. So
they got bought out. The original guy, Tom, I think it is. Was it Tom? Anyway,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Anyway, the picture of the guy sitting at the computer looking over his shoulder. Anyway, he sold off the company, and they tried to bring it back in 2013, and now they're talking about doing it again in 2026. Of course, that was music oriented, more people that are music producers and artists and stuff. That was kind of where they were leaning towards when it kind of went defunct. But I think that's probably the same direction they're going to go to. But, it's like part of, I heard somebody talking about this the other day, that the way the algorithm is on Facebook and Instagram and even to a certain extent, X, is that sometimes you see a lot of, I don't know about you, but I see people that I don't even follow. I don't know, who are these people? Why are you in my feed? I'm not on there very much. I scroll probably maybe 5 minutes a day, if that. But I mean, it's 80% of it's people I don't know, that I don't follow. I have no idea who these people are.
Yeah, you get stuff that shows up and it's like, what? Or if you're scrolling and you're trying to push by something, a commercial comes up. I don't need to know about women's underwear that's from J.C. Penney. No, I did not tap on it. I was trying to scroll past it. And so then once it says you tapped on it, guess what you get a lot of?
If you Googled women's underwear, which you probably have, that's probably where it gathers all that information. I mean, one of my favorite books when I was a kid was the Sears catalog, and it was the female underwear section. But anyway, part of all that, though, the algorithm is just so screwed up that I think that MySpace is going to try to fill that gap and go, look, we're only going to show you people that you want to see. And like I said, how many times have you talked with your wife about something? Barbara and I have done this so many times. It's like, maybe we should look at maybe getting a throw rug for the living room or whatever. And it's like, we just will say it. And all of a sudden we get ads for throw rugs. So, this thing is listening all the time.
That thing and A also listens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
We don't call her by her name because it's, how can I help? Shut up. Nobody's talking to you.
She sounds really nice, but I think she's a creep. So yeah.
Okay. Well, somebody told me we have a potload of little clippies today. We're not going to get to talk much. Yay! You people are so happy about that, I'm sure.
We do have a lot of clips today.
The news has just been nuts.
It's been a lot. I really thought that once some of the major primaries got over with, that we would kind of like slow down a little bit. It hadn't happened.
Today's another major primary day.
Yeah, today is another primary day. Alabama has a special election for the House. Then you have primaries in Connecticut, Minnesota, South Carolina is got a special primary, Vermont, Wisconsin, and that's all today. Next week is Alaska, California, Florida, and Wyoming. And this goes on until September 15th, I think it is. Delaware has their primary in September 15th. I'm blown away how late these primaries go. But anyway, there's a lot of concerning things that dude up in Michigan that won the Democratic primary.
Well, he won the Democratic primary, but because it was just between two Democrats, he didn't even get 20% of the state's population. He got a little tiny.
Well, they don't have an open primary, so I mean, you got to, if you're a registered Democrat, then that's what you vote. But
so it's very small. But if you only got split up, and he barely won. They were talking like he was going to trounce that gal. I don't think he won by a full percentage point.
A friend of mine texted me right after that whole thing happened. Is like, well, what do you think of this? And I'm like, going, maybe it's good news for Mike Rogers, who got the Republican nomination for is it governor? It's governor, right?
No, that's for the Senate.
Senate. Yeah. Okay. Mike Rogers is a Senate candidate for up there,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's good news. It could be good news for him because that DSA Islamist is not going to get a lot of the vote. I still don't think, as far left as Michigan has gone, I don't think he's going to win. I think it may be close, but I don't think he's got the chutzpah to win. I really don't.
Well, there's a lot of Muslims in the state. There isn't enough.
Yeah, I don't think so. And let's hope. I mean, again, I think you sent me this clip of somebody in Texas, in Mississippi, that said they were going to drive up to Michigan in Grand Rapids or whatever and let out a bunch of pigs, and all of a sudden have an accident and let a bunch of pigs run in the street. Woo, boy, that would be fun.
And then there was the meme of you had American guys on they were on a tank and it was shooting bacon.
Yeah. I mean, that,
like, give me a break. I mean, it was funny as all get out. Anyway,
you got to have fun. Yeah,
that's right.
The president signed 2 executive orders last Thursday, I think it was, to combat birthright citizenship and to combat birth tourism, which is both a problem. We covered the birthright citizenship in ad nauseum, if you might say. Was it a couple months ago? Was it a couple months ago?
Yeah, it was. We had we recorded a deal for that as well.
Yeah, we recorded that thing, and it covered what the 14th Amendment truly was and it wasn't, and what it was originally sought out for. If you read a lot of the documents that followed the 14th Amendment from people in Congress and people in power, it clearly was for the babies of slaves. Clearly, there was no interpretation. Even though the Supreme Court interpreted it that way, I think they got this wrong. That
supposedly it wasn't presented to them properly, so I don't know. It might get revisited, but for now, they're going to put a stop to it because between China and there's several other countries that are less than stellar, sending people here to have their little ones. Why is it all the communists sending their people in to have babies and then going back? Huh.
Influence elections? Yeah, I think so.
Somewhere
Yeah.
down the road
Anyway,
where
to give you some clarity, here's the president and Stephen Miller explaining what they did.
We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in, and we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes. So today the president signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the president mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War so to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back, you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship.
And and we talked about this in the promo that, with executive orders, as fast as they go into play, if we get a different party taking over the White House in 2028, they can just as easily be rescinded.
Well, look what Biden did. He essentially got rid of every single thing that Trump had put in and put this country in a tailspin that is still trying to recover.
Oh, yeah. When you print, was it $6 trillion over 3 years? The economy
does that cause inflation?
Maybe. I mean, I'll have to check with my file. Yes, as a matter of fact, it does.
Well, somebody said, "What can the government do about inflation?" Stop printing money. If you're not printing money, the government is the only one that can cause inflation. And guess what? They caused it a lot.
That's capitalist society economics 101. You print a bunch of money. There's so many examples in the world. Zimbabwe was the one that stands out to me, is like they printed so much money to combat whatever they were doing over there, but it's gotten to the point now it's like $12 million for a loaf of bread in Zimbabwe. I mean, it's insane. They use it to light cigarettes. I mean, they're worthless.
In the dumps, trash piles, whatever you want to say, in Venezuela, there's money all over because it's not even worth the paper the paper it's printed on. They went crazy. You have the same problem down in Argentina. And boy, is Javier Milei doing something about that. He's still working on things. And if you don't do this, then you're not going to get paid.
But whatever he's doing, whatever he's doing specifically, it's working like gangbusters, because it's like they were heading down that same path. You're absolutely right. I mean,
well, they were at 250, 220% inflation rate. It's like, that's crazy. You didn't buy it today, tomorrow it's going to be $4 more. What? How did that?
They got it down to like 33%. 33% still sounds terrible, because we're horrible. Like 3%, and people are apoplectic over 3%. But it's like 33% sounds terrible. But when it was 240 or whatever, yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah. So at any rate, yes, no, that's why we have inflation. And yes, oil is a little high, but Google's doing something really nasty now. You look, I will check out their news, and it will have today's oil prices. Well, why am I hearing everything is in the 70s, and all I ever see from them is 80s? Because they have that bent crude. They have the highest one. This is what the oil price is now. They have the bent crude. They don't have the West Texas Intermediate is what it is. Yeah, they didn't have the West Texas Intermediate, which is the one that everybody goes by. That's the one that's primarily the one we use.
That's the sweeter oil.
And yes, and it is easier to process, and Is down around last I saw was like 74, something like that.
Something like that. And I was reading that the other day too, and I saw a meme, and it was absolutely wrong, even though it was posted. And that's another thing that Richard and I do is like we see all these posts from people that supposedly mean well, but they don't check anything out, and they post it, and it's like, and I've seen a lot of podcasters just read it, and it's the way this has got to be gospel truth. No, because it had wrong information. But what it said is under Obama that the oil prices per barrel, I think, was like $147 a barrel. That's not true. It was like I think that the most it got to was like 113.
Yeah, I don't think it hit 120. It was headed toward it, but
Yeah, it was headed towards it. But the highest gas prices under him was like $4 a gallon. So why is it almost $4 a gallon now when it's sitting at 80, 75, 80? I mean, it's a head scratcher to me. I mean, I don't know.
well, processing costs and quote unquote, as we were just talking, inflation has changed the balance of what that is. But that's what is still causing some of the inflation is having anytime you have fuel and the world runs on oil, I don't care what these idiots that want to get rid of it. Sorry, that's what it runs on. All the nations that tried to go to the green energy, it's just so much better. And then you've come to find out those big, humongous propellers that are flying around in the air, they're not even good for 20 years, most of them. They're not biodegradable, and they barely get themselves paid for, and you start all over again.
Exactly. But that's a good thumbnail view, though, when you look at gas prices and as compared to the barrel of oil prices from then till now. I mean, that in real estate, I mean, you can really see where the printing of that $6 trillion had such an impact on our economy, and it really, really screwed us up. And it's going to take a long time for things to get back into play again. But with these executive orders, the specific categories that are affected, one is that if you're a diplomatic staffer and have a child, that child is not an American anymore. Children of citizens of American enemies like Al Qaeda, ISIS, communist countries, no more. They're not going to be able to get flown in, have a baby, get a birth certificate, and get out. The foreigners born in U.S. territories right now, like Puerto Rico, Guam, different places like that, that one needs some approval from Congress, but that's in there. And any woman who deceptively enters the U.S. to take advantage of birthright citizenship rule, which is what, like Richard was talking about, the Chinese have been doing this for quite a while now, and it's a big business. I mean, people are making
big. They're talking like it's pushing billions of dollars that this is recruiting. They have people in Florida that are advertising it. Have your baby in the U.S. Come on, we'll give it. There's a whole plane full of pregos headed this way.
I hadn't even seen that. Interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, so we'll have to see what the fallout of all that is. But the Fauci, the Fauch files continues.
The Fauch Meister.
After the whole, it was like a parody of a trial that happened a couple of weeks ago. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin was not happy. And this is what he had to say.
Dr. Fauci deserves an apology for the way he was treated by my colleagues. Dr. Fauci is an example of American excellence, a brilliant scientific mind, and yet the Republican Party has chosen to make this doctor, who saved countless lives, a political target. Last week, the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs subpoenaed Dr. Fauci in front of the Congress for a hearing, with the express goal of humiliating and vilifying him. For nearly 3 hours, my Republican colleagues berated, cursed, and insulted a man who has dedicated his life to protecting the health of American families. This behavior is below the dignity of the Senate. Put simply, it was an embarrassment. If my colleagues had genuine concern for America's public health, they would turn their attention instead to the destruction wrought by this administration's anti-science agenda. But my Republican Senate colleagues have chosen to ignore real life and death issues to relitigate COVID conspiracy theories. not in an effort to learn what might have gone wrong or how to prepare for the next pandemic, but instead to try and tear down a man who's devoted his entire life to lifting others up.
I think that, just listening to that, I feel like my testosterone level dropped about 25%. I mean, it's like, tell me, I mean, if you love Dr. Fauci, that's fine. You do you, but I mean, oh my gosh, how do you gush so much and still have your dignity?
Well, I do have a question for him is, did you log in and look at all the information that was sent to you and that you had access to see all of it so that you understood what was going on? Oh, hell no. Not a single Democrat logged into the website that has all of the information and the garbage that he would say privately that this is not good. This, boy, we've had a lot of kids that have, yes, it's safe and effective for the efficacy is wonderful for your children and you're pregnant. Don't worry about it.
And he still calls it conspiracy theories. It's like, man, every conspiracy theory involving COVID.
The numbers don't lie. He can call it whatever he likes. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore.
No.
There was close to 1 million people that died because they took the shot, not because they didn't. Those of us who didn't are still here to be obnoxious.
And like I said, I was going through chemo and radiation in 2022. I never even my white blood cell count was 0 for a while, and I didn't get COVID. So I mean, maybe Southerners just don't have the we're just too stupid to get it. I don't know, but my subscription ran out. I don't know what happened. But it's like Barbara and I, neither one of us got it. I mean, my son got it a couple of times, but I mean, nobody was close to death that I knew. Everybody says they know somebody who died from COVID. I don't know anybody that died from COVID. I mean, I know somebody.
I know people that when they got it and then got a booster, they would just be walking and, I must have stubbed my toe. No, you just flat passed out and face planted on the cement. It's just really sad to see trying to, cover for them, if you will. No, that's not what happened. You took the shot and then passed out.
And everybody whether you passed out or not, everybody I know that got the shot got sick on more than one occasion. I mean,
yes.
Like laying in the bed sick.
Yes, I know one couple that was bragging about we got the shot and 2 boosters in, and they must have had it 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, it's incredible. But you have to admire these Democrats' commitment to this whole thing at the cost of their dignity and most of the population knowing you watch that and it's like, he's brainwashed. Either that or he's faking it. I mean, why would you? I don't get it. But
Dick Durbin is nothing but a contrarian, and if it's Republican, it's wrong. It's flat wrong. There's no reasoning for it. It's just, no, we don't see it that way. Did you look at all the data that's come out of that? No. Nobody, not a single Democrat logged into the...
It's conspiracy theory. I don't want to read conspiracy theory. It's misinformation. Our friend Charlie down in Florida sent me this. It's been making its rounds again. Jim Brewer, who was a comedian, had a great routine. I think this was back in 2021 when he's still touring and doing his comedy show. But he had a great routine. This is a little bit of it, parroting what we were told back then.
Trust the experts, trust the experts. Trust the science, trust the science. CDC, Dr. Fauci. Mask on, mask off, 2 shots, 1 shot, mask on, 2 masks. Comply.
God, he's so funny. Oh man.
Yeah, that one, and he's walking around like a one of those cockatoos with the deal, and he's doing the pigeon toe walk, and it's just an absolute scream. He is a riot.
He's so
to watch.
funny. But yesterday there was a revelation about Fauci's government issued phone that got
not more conspiracies.
But wait, there's more. And it got looked at as well. Senator Ron Johnson broke the news on Clay and Buck yesterday. And this is, you got to listen closely. And if there's a couple of things in here you're not familiar with, which happened to me, I had to look this up. I'm at least I'm clear when I'm ignorant, and I was ignorant on a couple of things in here. So here's what he had to say yesterday.
Senator Paul and I got possession of Anthony Fauci's cell phone. My staff has now downloaded that into a searchable form. We found out that there are about 34,000 texts dating from about 2014 to within a few days to when he resigned from the NIH, 522 voicemail messages. But we're going to go cooperatively through those. We're going to protect people's personal information, including Fauci's, just release the information relevant to public health policy. But it's odd in these text messages, they're all but three are just assigned to a phone number. You only had 3 contacts. So that certainly indicates some deletions, but here's the news. And we're going to do this. We're going to figure out some strategy for going through this volume of information and releasing relevant information as soon as we possibly can. But this piece of information I had released today because it impacts public safety. It impacts informed consent. So this is an email chain between Anthony Fauci, CDC Director Walensky, and Surgeon General Murthy. This is on January 25th and 26th, 2021, a little more than a month after the emergency use authorization on the mRNA injections. In the middle of the chain, Dr. Fauci writes, and this is all about the COVID injection as it relates to pregnancy. So in the middle of the chain, Dr. Fauci writes, I asked around a bit more, and another issue came up that you need to be aware of, period. Since many people have significant cytokine storm and fever after the second dose, this theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Now, I've never heard public officials talk about significant cytokine storms after the second dose, and all we heard from public officials is that this was perfectly safe for pregnancy. Let me go on a little bit more. In June of 2021, Tom Shimabukuro, he was the man in charge of safety surveillance systems for CDC, published a grossly misleading paper in the New England Journal of Medicine, where they looked at 827 confirmed pregnancies. 700 of those pregnancies, the women got their COVID injection in the third trimester after 28 weeks. Of those 827, 104 suffered a spontaneous abortion or a miscarriage. The problem with those stats is they took the 104 divided by 827, came up with a miscarriage rate of 12.6%, which is about 4 times the rate of normal miscarriage rate on a confirmed pregnancy. But here's what they did that was so grossly misleading. 700 of those women got their injection in the third trimester. A miscarriage or a spontaneous abortion is defined as anything up to 20 weeks. So the relevant denominator should have been 104 miscarriages divided by 127, which puts a miscarriage rate at 82%. So Anthony Fauci knew about potential cytokine storms impacting the first trimester in miscarriages, told no one about it because it would create vaccine hesitancy. These folks are well aware of this stuff. The massive government scandal I broke that no news station, not a broadcast network or major newspapers covered. This is a story where Peter Marks knew about these safety signals in March of 2021, told no one. So again, this is one text exchange that Senator Paul and I are releasing today. You'll see the press release come out. We've got all the quotes by these people assuring people it's safe for pregnancy when they knew full well that it wasn't.
Well, 2 things we have. He talked about the pregnancies. It was 847 or whatever it was, but most of those, the vast majority, were in the third trimester. And when you lose your baby in the third trimester, it's not considered a spontaneous abortion or a miscarriage. It's considered something else. So they categorized it in a certain way. So it's manipulation of numbers is what that is.
Oh, they did a lot of that back then. For instance, somebody died in a car wreck. Oh, look, they have a smidgen of COVID because they took the shot. It's going to show that you have COVID in your system, and thereby, he died of COVID. Yay, we get some extra money.
My friend in Florida had a neighbor that was on his roof cleaning out his gutters or something, and and he fell off the roof and died. And they tested him for COVID and counted it as a COVID death because they said he had COVID in his system. And of course, and we've covered this ad nauseum again, that there was a financial reward for hospitals and doctors to put on the death certificate as the number one cause of death as COVID. Why in
As
the world?
well as an incentive to jab as many folks as you can. We would get relentless and went, no, I'm not doing it.
But yeah, I mean, but that's why they came out and kept saying that it was safe and effective over and over when they knew that these numbers existed. This all came out before he went out and said everything was safe and effective. My ignorant part of this is a cytokine storm. I had never heard of that before. I had to look that up.
Yeah, there's stuff, and like we were saying earlier, we don't talk about something, we don't put it out there without, as it were, the receipts or the actual person talking, which there you heard the actual
Senator Johnson.
Senator Johnson, I was trying to remember his name, telling you about what there was and where it came from. Okay, I don't know where you want it coming right straight from the little horse's mouth.
Absolutely. But if you're not familiar with the cytokine storm, I was not. It's a pathological reaction in humans and other animals in which innate immune system causes an uncontrolled and excessive release of pro-inflammatory signaling molecules called cytokines. And they're a normal part of the body's immune response to infection, but their sudden release in large quantities may cause multi-system organ failure and death. And obviously, it can cause miscarriages as well. Because anytime, it's like in America, and I know when my wife was pregnant, and you probably had the same thing, it's like in America, we are so conditioned to where it's like if you're pregnant, you don't drink wine, you don't drink alcohol, you don't smoke, you don't. You watch the over-the-counter medications that you take, no aspirins, no, a lot of this stuff. But in Europe, a lot of them continue to drink all the way through pregnancy and, smoking, nobody really seems to. But it's like when it came to this vaccine here in America, they kind of flushed that whole idea down the toilet and said, safe and effective. Just take it.
Well, and another thing, I would like to check more into that, but morticians were going, these people are dying. Their blood is so coagulated with all the mRNA stuff that was in there, they couldn't embalm people without stopping and cleaning the machine, and it would plug right back up again. And they were saying, we've not seen this before. And all of a sudden, they put a kibosh to it. If you talk about this anymore, we're going to take away your mortician's license.
Yeah, they made a movie about it, a short little second-rate movie about it. But they were showing the strings. It was like it wasn't a normal clot like you expect to see. It was stringy. It was weird.
That didn't break up. That wouldn't,
It's that spike protein.
And it. So don't tell me the shot wasn't causing problems and killing lots of people. Oh, you got to get it. No. And then you had all the folks that all the celebrities, if you will. Well, you just need to have your liberty. Screw your liberty. You need to get the. Oh, bite me.
That was Schwarzenegger that said that. Yeah, screw your freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as did the guy that's in New York that was really hot for a while on the radio, Howard Stern. I had to think of his name. I'd keep talking till I found it. It was in the file drawer there somewhere. Yeah, Howard Stern was the same thing. He was going, screw your liberty. You the rest of us, it's like, okay, you want to believe this crap? Good for you. I'm not doing it.
Don Lemon and a lot of them over at CNN were like going, look, if you don't get the shot, then your freedoms are limited. You can't go to school. Even Fauci said that. It's like, the people like Meta and a lot of the others, if you don't get your shot, you can't work here. It's like,
you want to go to a ball game? You want to go to work? Well, if you don't get it.
Even Jimmy Kimmel said that if you're having a heart attack, wow, you didn't get the shot, enjoy Wheezy, stay out there in the, I mean, I've got no use for these people anymore.
Nope.
I mean, they really showed their true colors. And in a way, I'm thankful because now we see. We're up against a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the trans idiocy in the WNBA, which is getting a little spicy. I like it. I like spice anyway. So Hang in there. We'll be right back.
What in the world was that?
It's called common sense. What'd you think?
I gotta admit, it felt pretty good.
The Stay Off My Lawn podcast continues next.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Mr. Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Without you, our teams would be in 6th or 7th place and feel as if they were in 6th or 7th place.
Can you feel it?
Carefully, you craft uncanny representations of actual human hands so that we may wave them annoyingly in the faces of our rivals.
In your face.
They're enormous, yes, yet one size fits all. Brilliant.
Raise them to the sky now.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Foam Finger Maker, and know we speak for sports fans everywhere when we say, no, you're number one.
Giant Foam Finger Maker.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Part of me's sad that those things are about run out.
Aw, we'll have to start over again.
We could. I've actually found some good fake ones from years ago, and we've got a couple to fill in the gaps between now and we got to have some. Martin, if you're out there listening, you've got another drop that you can give us of commercials that you've got in your bank over there. We'd appreciate it. So.
Oh, he's a great listener. He's provided some wonderful stuff for us. So.
He listens every week, as far as I understand. So
yep, he was the one listening when him and 3 other people were listening.
That's right. All 4 of them are just sitting all right together. Yeah, yep. Without a mask on, and nobody had lines on the floor or nothing. Yeah, who'd have thunk? The trans idiocy in the whole WNBA is continuing. A lot of people are weighing in. Here's a fellow WNBA player, Gabby Williams, giving her little 2 cents. It's not even worth that.
Trans rights now is our new battle. That's what I think I was saying, that like the battles have changed, like our intentions have been the same, but now the environment has changed. We see trans people's rights being, stripped away from them. There's a lot of discourse around trans athletes and what they can compete in. I would welcome a trans athlete on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world. It's just another way to kind of attack trans people. We've seen players like Lasia Clarendon who stepped into that forefront and have been brave enough and courageous enough to kind of step up. So I guess that's the next battle that we have to fight as athletes.
Well, she wants hairy knuckle people on her team.
Well, the term that keeps coming out that just fries my gizzard is the trans rights people. They keep having there's no rights taken from anybody. You have the same rights as everybody else. But when you want to pretend to be something you're not, I don't care what you want to say, man is made different from woman. There's a reason only men work on oil rigs. Only men do some of these other things that are out there. It's because it's tough to do.
You don't see a lot of women bricklayers or construction workers
or route workers. You're seeing more than you used to, but they don't last as long. It's a hard day. I mean, it's not easy.
I know. We had certain things in where I worked where it was like things were very, very heavy, and you had to move very, very heavy things when you switch bottles, working at a brewery and everything. So it's like you had to move these things, and we had girls in there where they just couldn't do it. So you had to, once you got your job done, you had to go to the job and do the job that they had to do too. So and we all got paid the same, and when you zoom out a little bit, that's not fair. I mean, if you can't do the job, I know women that are extremely strong, stronger than I am, and that would be fine. But I mean, these are these little whisper women that are just like, they couldn't lift it. I mean,
they want the pay, but they can't do the work. Sorry. And I'm not against that. Good Lord, I have granddaughters and daughters, and I got girl and great granddaughters. I got girls galore in my life.
I love it when
you know what? If you can do it, do it. It's okay.
But I mean, I I like it when my wife needs me to open something or to move something. There's something about that. It's just kind of like, well, that's my role. That's what we should be doing. But and nothing against these crazy little kids either. That said, I'm a furry. I'm identifying as a cat. No, you're an idiot. And if you're a man saying you're identifying as a woman, I have the same response to you. You're an idiot. There's something wrong. The cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs part of your brain is overwhelming the rest of it. So.
It just doesn't work, especially you're out there and you're playing against women and you still have the twigs and berries, you still have the testosterone makers available, and I don't care the muscle structure and everything. That's why the men have the testosterone. You get puffed up, and I mean, that's just what you do.
And I would bet you 90% of the population, maybe I'm overestimating, but I would imagine 90% of the population at least privately agree that, yeah, this is stupid. This is just stupid. But the media and everything has given this thing a life of its own. And
I'm just about fed up and done with the media. They just keep pushing lies. They say things that are so untrue. When are we going to get that Smith-Mundt Act back? Something needs to be done. I don't know whether people aren't pushing the Congress for it, whatever, but you're not supposed to be able to put propaganda against your own people, and that's all they do. The left media, that's all they do.
Exactly what happened with COVID. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's why it sticks in my craw, and it will be until I'm gone, probably. Former female soccer star Megan Rapinoe, who's been on the winning World Cup team, she's a winning Olympic gold medalist. I give her props for all that. She's had some great successes, but she's got some opinions now that she's retired from competing.
Well, she was on a team, I think, played a very low-ranked men's soccer team and got their tuckuses handed to them.
It was like 11-1 or something.
Yeah, it was like just an absolute pummeling. Oh, we can play as good as... Really? How'd that work out for you? Just curious.
Exactly. Now she says she's all about biological men playing in women's sports of all kinds. Doesn't like Sophie Cunningham, especially since she had her picture made with Riley Gaines. Here's what she said.
I don't know Sophie, so I can only project what I see about her beliefs based on her actions. And seeing a picture of her with Riley Gaines after the game told me everything I need to know about what's happening. Riley Gaines has made it her life's mission to exclude trans people from public life. She's directly tied to the Heritage Foundation, the authors of Project 2025 and now 2026, who have now published a report that suggests that they want to repeal Title IX, the very piece of legislation that allowed athletes like Sophie and myself to compete in sports.
First of all, Riley has never said she wanted to exclude trans people from public life. That's just... And I've watched Riley, and I know you have too. Go ahead.
Yes. And then she was lying about Title IX. And then they want it. No, they don't. They want it implemented for what it was written for. No men in women's sports, so that Sparks, hey, yeah, come up there. You can have some sparks there. You women can do the sparks, okay?
Grab that bell. We'll play some sparks.
Where the hell did that come from? Anyway, so that, women get to you. That's why you have your own stuff, and why in schools that you have to fund the volleyball team with maybe the football team's gotten gains need to be shared with some of them. Otherwise, a lot of schools would not have that available to them. So, that's what Title IX was intended for. Not so that guys can go, I didn't make the men's team. I can wear a dress and be a... No, it doesn't work. Put a wig on, which we have some information about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we can share up her other opinions. Riley has been a big thing about biological men playing in sports, because when she was going against Leah Thomas, which is, I forgot what his real name is, but I mean, she has firsthand knowledge of all this and how unfair it is. And, every time a man thinks he's a woman or dresses like a woman and decides to take a spot in one of these teams or in a championship slot or whatever, you're bumping a girl out. Somebody who's worked their whole life to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not
taking away scholarships, taking away titles. There was, and they did eventually strip him, her, it, whatever, of all the things. And I think Riley Gaines was awarded that. But come on, that's ridiculous.
And that's only because she fought.
Yes, only because she fought. And the gal, I think it's still an ongoing thing that got hit in the face so hard by that volleyball gentleman who just was playing with the girls and just drilled her. I'm sorry, the girls can't hit it that hard, and there's a reason. They're girls.
She had to get facial reconstruction surgery,
Yes.
as far as I remember. Yeah.
And she had to learn to walk. She had all kinds of problems. It rattled the noodle around pretty hard.
Well, Megan had more to say, which, I'd really hate to play this, but here we go.
The root of trans exclusion is to protect young girls from men. To be clear, I would love to have that conversation, and it's much needed in this country. But it frames the conversation as if we're protecting young girls from men being in WNBA locker rooms. Not happening. It villainizes trans girls as if they're somehow magically older than their peers or are men, when in reality, they are also young girls. These laws are excluding kids from playing youth sports. If we want to have a conversation around elite sports, there are effective policies that have been in place for many years that no one noticed because they worked. So if anybody is taking these talking points as legit or believing they're protecting young girls in sports, I just have to ask, are you serious?
I think she's been hit in the head a couple of times because it's like she is just backwards on things. It's like, what happened? That pink hair dye that she puts in her hair.
I think it seeped in.
Seeped in, I think so. Oh my gosh.
Holy crap. And I guess Brittany Griner, they keep saying, is not a her, it's a him, and now has been banned for life because of, who knows, banned for life in the WNBA means she'll be playing next week. I don't know.
Yeah. And there's a remedy for this. Women's tennis has done some things about this already.
As has the International Olympic Committee.
That's right. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yes. They have said, nope, you got to take, and they're going, what, are they going to have somebody standing there inspecting stuff? Oh, it's a cheek swab, you twit. Or you can spit in a cup and they can do stuff. It's the same difference.
All they're checking for is whether you got XX or XY chromosomes. That's really all it is. And once you pass that test, you never have to get tested again.
Correct.
It's over. But tennis star Jessica Pegula weighed in on this decision in tennis, and she's got some common sense about her.
I think the WTA just wanted to update their policy based on what they've seen from other, sporting organizations. And so far, at least from my point of view, I don't really have any pushback on it. I think I haven't heard, even being on council, no players have really mentioned or said anything about it. So now that it's been announced, I think we'll see, obviously, now that we're here in Toronto, a bigger tournament, and going into Cincy when the testing starts, we'll see if there's any more feedback. But I think so far, no one's really said anything, and I think it's more just the tour making a decision, updating it, and it kind of is what it is.
Even Serena Williams, and I think we talked about this before, it said that she doesn't want to play against the boys.
She played against a gentleman who was ranked 200th or something in the men, and he just cleaned her clock. She goes, I couldn't hit that back to him. Mixed doubles is a little different thing, but she was playing singles, and she goes, I can't hit the ball that hard, and she's pretty tough.
She's very, very strong and very, and man, probably one of the best tennis players I've ever seen on the women's side, for sure. I mean, when you look back at like even Martina Navratilova or
Billie Jean King
back in that era, they couldn't hold a candle to her. I mean, she's fantastic. And at least she's got common sense about her. I mean, I'll give her that. Anyway, getting back to the WNBA for a minute, 2 players have made themselves eligible for the draft in the WNBA next year. Here's Enes Kanter, who has just recently released this press release.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, that I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles.
This reminds me of the debate that Trump and Hillary Clinton had when she claimed that all of his friends use, or he uses, all these loopholes to not pay any taxes. He said it's the same loopholes you make. This is the rules that are in place.
And that all your friends do. I don't use anyone that any of your friends don't, because it's funny how the Dems always talk about all these billionaires on the Republican side. They neglect to mention all the billionaires that are sending them money from, like, what's his name, Sinclair, that's in China, and you got Soros over in,
Yeah, their knickers would be in a knot if those loopholes went away, for sure. Yeah. So anyway, that, when the rules are rules, and we've got another guy going for the rules, ex-NBA player Royce White, who's actually currently running for the U.S. Senate in Minnesota. He ran he ran in 2022, I think, also, or 2024, and Amy Klobuchar narrowly beat him. But he's running again this year, and here's what he had to say.
Earlier this week, I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I think I'd be unstoppable.
What would stop you from declaring for the WNBA draft?
I think the WNBA could come out and make a definitive statement about guys with a pair of balls playing in the women's association. But hey, that'd be probably too much like right. So.
And unless they do that, you're very certain you're going to be declaring, right?
Oh no, I'm declaring. Yeah, no, and I don't want to be discriminated against. No, I want fair treatment. I'm a black, I'm a young black, hopefully United States senator that would like a fair chance to participate as a sometimes identifying as a transgender woman athlete.
If you make it to the WNBA, you plan to use the women's locker room and all that?
I mean, of course. I mean, I don't want to be discriminated against. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't I use the women's locker room?
Is there any player in the WNBA that you think could match up well with you?
No. Maybe Enos. Maybe me and Enos should play on the same team.
Oh, that sound you heard in the background? That's the tables getting turned, is what that noise is.
Yeah, and I did, in fairness, I didn't get a chance to read anything about it, but I saw something this morning from 3 different sources that I use that the WNBA is caving. So I don't know what they're doing about it. We'll find out more. But this is so idiotic and asinine. It's like, give me a break.
You remember Rush Limbaugh, and I don't know if I know you said you weren't much of a listener of his, but he had this phrase.
I was, and then I kind of went away from it for quite a while. So
I listened to him off and on. I mean, for a couple of decades, I was working too much. I couldn't really listen, but I started listening when I was in the car a lot, fixing copiers. I had to drive around fixing copiers and fax machines back when they used to have things to fix like that. But I was listening to him back then, but he used to have this thing. He would do things that were absurd to point out absurdity. And it's like, and I think that that's what this is. They're being absolutely absurd by saying, once in a while I'm a transgender and I think I'm a woman. And sometimes
partially or whatever. It's like, give me a break.
And you know what? Find him on social media. I like this guy's style.
I do too. He comes across very. I've listened to some stuff because of this going on, and go, wow, he's very commonsensical and articulate, and presents himself very well. I would vote for the guy.
Absolutely. If I was in Minnesota, which thank God that I'm not.
Yes. Same here. Oh, well.
With all this, and I heard this the other day. I think it was Nancy Mace that put out a statement, and love or hate Nancy Mace. She's got some good information that she puts out once in a while. But she was talking about a term called suicidal empathy. And it's like, I've heard that term before, but I didn't. Again, I'm showing my ignorance here. I'm only going to flash you once with it. But I mean, but if I don't know what it is, I'll look it up. I'm not going to flash you twice because once you get a good look at it, you're not going to want to look at anything else. But
You made me start.
I got you snorting. That's my whole thing. That's what I wanted. This term was coined by a Canadian marketing professor, Professor Gad Saad. I think is how you pronounce his name. Anyway, he wrote a book called Suicidal Empathy, Dying to be Kind. And according to Saad, suicidal empathy is the inability to implement optimal decisions when one is psychologically conditioned to prioritize empathy or displays of empathy over a rational course of action. And I think that's what we're seeing with this whole trans issue. And it's like, and he even said that the opposite of suicidal empathy is psychopathy. So it's like, you either have to feel so much you can't think. I'll put it to you, set the bar low on this one, but you have to feel so much you can't rationally consider anything else. Or like if you're a serial killer, you have no feelings at all, and murdering somebody or doing whatever, raping, whatever it is that those people on that side of that spectrum are, then they don't feel anything. So, I mean, it's gotten to the point where we are just, and it's liberal white women. 90% of it is liberal white women. They have to feel so much, and they just, I feel so bad that he's just so, he's not part of society. People make fun of him. Yeah, I'm going to look, if you're a guy with a beard and a dress, I'm going to make fun of you, at least on the inside. I mean, I'm going to snicker a little bit. It's just the way it is.
Just roll my eyes and go, okay, whatever, Chuckles.
Whatever.
You do you, boo.
Exactly. I just, this whole thing, it's just gotten out of control. That's what this is, though. That's exactly what we're witnessing, though, is suicidal empathy. I really thought that described that perfectly.
Yep.
And this hatred for America, and this really doesn't segue very well, but I mean, we've talked many times about the younger people today that don't appreciate America because they don't have any perspective. They're blindly following what other people in authority or the media have told them. And
they're indoctrinators when they go to school every day, and they've not had any civics, so they know nothing about America, where America came from, how hard we fought to keep what we had, and now they're just willing to socialism, that's the greatest thing ever. No, it's not.
Exactly. But the hatred of America, it's almost like, that's kind of a bandwagon that people are getting on. It's like, well, I'd hate America. It's a terrible place. Well, where would you rather go? And they're normally deer in the headlights after that. A lot of places sound great, but I mean, consider, and this is a stat that I brought up a few months ago, that the UK on the whole is poorer per capita than the state of Mississippi, which is our poorest state in the country. So, I mean, the poverty level, I mean, everything looks great whenever you see anything based out of the UK. It's beautiful. There's castles. There's people walking around and looking like Doctor Who and the whole thing. But I mean, there's a lot of poverty in Europe. I'm not just picking on the UK, but I mean, in the whole of Europe, there's a lot of poverty that we don't understand because we have just lived in this bubble for so long. And anyway,
as many of them found out when they came over for FIFA, which there was all kinds of, the U.S. isn't set up for, wow, these stadiums are when they got here, and the people are so not. I've been lied to. Yes, you have been.
They're carrying around ranch packets and. I mean, well, okay, whatever, but somebody who has perspective is a lady named Dr. Sheila Nazarian. Her family fled Iran after the Islamic takeover back in, 79, 78? I think right around the hostage crisis, if you're old enough to
Yeah,
remember.
if you want to know what these countries looked like in the 70s, go check out Iran, and you'll find what did the people and the females and whatever look like in Iran. How about try Lebanon? The same thing in the 70s. And these radicals, and you think, oh, it's not going to happen here. Well, they didn't think it was going to happen there either. And now they're all in the burqas and the.
I know. And you look at the pictures and the videos from Tehran back then, it looked like it could have been downtown LA. I mean, the girls in miniskirts and people are just enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Everything was clean. It was nice. It was, it was westernized, and they had all the oil and very successvel. And somebody started trying to convince. Yeah, same thing happened in Venezuela. They were the same thing. Then you get to come in and, oh, you're so downtrodden. I am. Yeah, I am. Okay, you want to start believing that.
You know what? Just try something else is what I'm saying. Just we'll buy you a ticket.
There you go. One way. You want to come back, that's on you.
Exactly. But Dr. Sheila Nazarian was speaking at the Kufi conference, which is Christians United for Israel event. And this is what she had to say.
I want to ask the students screaming death to America. Do you have any idea what happens when American values die? Because I do. My family fled a country where freedom died. You don't know what you have until it's gone. You think America is oppressive because you have never experienced real oppression. You think silence is violence because you've never been silenced. You think words are dangerous because you have never watched a government drag someone away for speaking them. You think capitalism is evil because you have never stood in a bread line. You think borders are immoral because you have never had to flee across one. And you think revolution is romantic because you have never had a revolution take everything from you. I have. And that's why I refuse to be quiet.
Now, she was born here in America, but her parents came over here just before she was born and fled Iran after the Islamic takeover of that country. And, I don't know whether it was before the hostage crisis or not, but I mean, if you remember back then, that was a huge deal. It was on everybody's mind. I was in high school at the time, but I mean,
Shah was exiled. He had all kinds of stuff going on over there. And you go, it's just the Middle East because it had happened. I don't remember. I think Lebanon was maybe a couple years before that. And then Iran toppled. And the Middle East was a place you didn't want to go. Now, those that are all successful with all of their oil and such, they don't want to go back to some of that. They're still going to have some of their religious stuff, but they want to still have freedom, and because it's United Arab Emirate is where Dubai is, if I remember correctly.
That's exactly right.
And it's one of the most wealthiest cities you could ever go to. My son-in-law,
is incredible looking. Yeah.
Yes, his destroyer broke down, and they had to be dry docked, fully loaded and armed, at a dry dock in Dubai. He goes, "We can't do anything." He said, "I can't afford it. I can't even afford to go get a cup of coffee."
Incredible.
It was ridiculously expensive, but they are using their wealth to prosper and become more wealthy. What was Iran using their wealth for? All their oil wealth? To build more bombs and to try and build a nuclear bomb to wipe out people.
Uranium. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's certainly two different things, but like you said, the money is just so flush. Even Saudi Arabia, for the most part, is kind of like trying to stay middle ground for the most part over there, because it's like, look, yeah, we're Muslim, but I mean, they're distancing themselves from Iran. They're not really on board with all that. And if it wasn't for the money from Iran, I think Oman would probably be the same way, and Yemen and a lot of those places. So. I think Oman and Yemen are having a discussions, or they're finalizing some details of some kind of peace treaty. I don't know all the details of that, but there's more treaties going on over there right now. But Anyway, Megan, about 2 episodes ago, we had a segment on what the co-chair of the DSA, Megan Roper, had to say about her plans, or the DSA's plans for the country. And
when you hear it, you go, no, she's spoofing, right? This is all a made-up parody. No, it's really scary stuff. And they're just talking like, oh, this all makes perfect sense. No, it doesn't.
They wanted to abolish the Senate, pack the court, abolish prisons,
get rid of the president.
Yep, get rid of the border, all that stuff. Anyway, she's making her rounds again on podcasts again. This time she's talking taxes, and here's what she had to say.
But we do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
Yeah, I don't have like a solid, but I think.
But shouldn't you?
I
mean, if you're the co-chair of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something? What exactly do you mean?
So again, it's democracy, right? And we have to look at what we need to spend and what we need. We don't want to depend on the existence of millionaires because that means people are still getting exploited. So, so yeah, we need to look at what we need to pay for in the interim, what sort of tax base we need for that to happen, and then and build from there.
So the mere existence of millionaires, if you didn't catch that, means people are being exploited.
Okay.
Make it make sense.
I am going to make it make sense. They all complain about, well, nobody should have as much money as our buddy Elon. And really? I'll bet he provides more taxes to this country than anybody else in the country. He's employing over 160,000 plus employees that depend on him for their paychecks, that get taxed, that get going into local stuff and to national. They're all taxpayers. He pays a lot. I'm just doing well today, aren't I? He pays a lot of taxes as well. And I'm getting so what has your government, what have you done that is putting as much money into the coffers as he is, or any of the other millionaires who slept on a couch because they couldn't afford an apartment, so they stayed where they were working and got things going and got it up to where they had to hire somebody. Then it got good enough they could hire somebody else. Who else has taken those kind of chances? Did you take those chances? Don't look like it to me.
You see the old pictures of Jeff Bezos with his garage office with Amazon. Yep. It's like, he's got a sign up on the wall that he obviously marked out himself with a Sharpie. I mean, it's like, you got to appreciate that. I'm not a big Jeff Bezos fan.
I'm not either, but I do appreciate what he did and how he sacrificed to get to where he got. So you know what? It's all about sacrifice. And how much do you really want it? Being an entrepreneur and going and building something from nothing and having an idea that I think people are going to like this, and they like that, well, maybe they'll like this. And then all of a sudden things double and they triple and quadruple. These idiots, all they want to do is just tax, take their money away. When you do that, what happens? You take away the incentive. And pretty soon, as the Iron Maiden said, you run out of other people's money.
Well, that's the thing. If you tax millionaires until they're not millionaires anymore, who are you going to tax then? The 100,000aires? I mean, this whole class warfare thing has been going on since I was a young man. I remember hearing about that the rich people are the problem of society and everything. And it's like, and I guess if you're a low IQ.
Only the Republican rich people. The Democrat, they got a lot of money too, but that's how we have our.
Yeah, the Hollywood elite with the hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, they're fine. Even though they didn't.
They're okay. Those people are all right because they're Democrats and they're liberals, so that's all right. They can have all the money they want. You Republicans that are conservative, not for you.
She also said this real quick.
In other words, you would have gone to that rally had you been able.
That's a good question. I probably would have. Yeah. I don't live in New York City, so I wouldn't have.
One day after the slaughter of 1,200 people and taking of over 200 hostages, you would have come and rallied behind Hamas.
I think that October 7th was largely inevitable. If you put people in an open air concentration camp and you deprive them of rights, of dignity, of food, of the ability to live in safety, you have to expect that they are going to not take that for that long. And that is not defending any harm of civilians or of non-combatants.
Well, sure.
That is. Do you think it is?
You're saying you're supporting it.
I'm saying that I think it was inevitable.
Well, and that's a lie, because none of that was taking place. The one who was keeping people hungry was Hamas itself, was hoarding all the food, and they have found pallets upon pallets of food that was sent for humanitarian purposes.
Israel sometimes.
That were never given to the people. Warehouses full of the stuff, and everybody's still starving.
Again, it's very similar to Iran. They care nothing about the people. It's all about their power, and those people are getting fat, and their whole people are starving.
And they're wonderful propagandists, though. They can get stuff out. It's amazing. They've got some marketing genius, because they have fooled so many people over this. It's like, really? You're buying that crap? Ugh.
That's why that's why we talk about these things, because it's like, there's some truth. You got to dig down sometimes, but yeah. And to give credit where credit is due, department, Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe over at MSN News, whatever it is now.
I don't know. It's MS Now.
MS Now, that's what it was. He had a response to her words, and he's not happy.
Wow.
The co-chair of the DSA supported going to a pro-Hamas rally the day after Hamas gleefully slaughtered more Jews on October 7th than any day the Jews were slaughtered since the Holocaust. Women raped, young children shot in front of their parents, parents shot in front of young children. The DSA co-chair, which means the DSA, supports that. I really don't want to hear from the DSA anymore that they're about economic justice or health care. This would be like going to a pro-Al-Qaeda rally on September the 12th, which I'm sure many people in the DSA would say, well, that would be perfectly fine, because look at the U.S. policies throughout the years. It is unbelievable. And if Democratic leadership in Washington, D.C. doesn't separate themselves from this, they will, what was Chuck Schumer's words, reap the whirlwind? Whatever his words were, his inartful use of words, before, they are going to pay for it politically.
In other words, you would have gone to that.
So yeah, they're gonna pay for it. I mean, and to give Joe credit, I mean, he used to be a Republican back in the day, and maybe some of that's seeping through now. But I think just like Joe Rogan, just like Bill Maher, a lot of these people who consider themselves lefties are going, this makes no sense.
None whatsoever. And they're starting to, folks in New York are starting to see there's problems, and there's every day you hear about somebody who's another multimillionaire that says, you're not taxing for everything I got. We're out of here. Staten Island saying, no, we are not part of New York anymore. So there's things going where you can charge us if you want. We ain't paying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's they're seeing what it's like, which is maybe not a bad thing, but New York is just a filthy dump right now. I mean, it's not that it's ever been super, but it's disgusting. It looks like a third world country.
And I think Rudy Giuliani, when he took over back 26 years ago, or whatever it was, he cleaned up the city, and he did some good things, and the city was decent. And anybody who lived there at that time tells me that it's like it was a great time to live there. But even AOC, and you and I were listening to this off the air, that she even has distanced herself from the national DSA and said that she's part of the chapter of the New York chapter.
Not the national chapter, only just the New York chapter. Oh, well, then that's okay. You're not part of it.
How much difference can there be?
None. That's where that other nutbag, the chairwoman, whatever she is, co-chairman of the DSA, is located. So it's like, whatever. And this stuff may play in New York. It may play in Southern California, which they're starting to go, wait a minute, all our taxes and gas prices are stupid. And yeah, we want to stop doing this.
As they should. I mean, I don't understand why it takes so much to wake people up.
Yeah. I mean, every lefty state is having issues. They're not making it, or you start digging into stuff and it's like, where did that money go to? Oh, well, it was used for, what was that? So then they start checking into
Ghana, maybe?
Yeah. $24 billion for a train that's never gone anywhere. Doesn't have a piece of track laid.
I was gonna say, I don't think any of the track got laid. Yeah, it's incredible. And when Greasy Gavin's asked about it, of course he's got, well, we've got, this whole dancing thing, people still buy it. Okay.
I don't understand.
He still thinks he's going to be president. I don't think he has a shot. I think AOC's got a better shot than he does.
And I don't think she'll last long. First debate she has, or the first time they start asking questions, if they do it legitimately, she can't answer, I need to go to the bathroom, if she was asked.
Hey, but she's good looking. So that's the main thing, I mean, that's what they did with Gavin. They think he's good looking because it's like, okay. Looks don't get you anywhere. I'd rather have somebody who looks like they got fed pork chops with a slingshot as long as they have common sense, I don't care.
And they're doing what's right for the country. So at any rate.
We need a palate cleanser though.
Oh, please, yes.
We have another.
We're so far over today.
Oh, we are again. Just like last week. This is another story of Americana from our West Texas Army vet partner in crime, Pappy G.
In 1871, the city of Chicago burned to the ground. 300 people dead, 100,000 homeless, 17,000 buildings reduced to ash and rubble in 2 days. It was one of the greatest urban disasters in American history, and out of those ashes came one of the greatest ideals America ever had. When the rebuilding began, a young architect named William LeBaron Jenney looked at the crowded, expensive land in downtown Chicago and asked a question nobody had seriously asked before. What if, instead of building out, we built up? The problem that nobody knew how. Buildings of more than 5 or 6 stories were essentially impossible. The walls at the bottom had to be so thick to support the weight above them that the ground floor windows were little more than slits. You couldn't go higher without the whole thing collapsing under its own weight. Jenney needed a different idea. Legend has it, the answer came from his wife. One afternoon, she set a heavy book on top of a small birdcage, and Jenney watched the delicate wire frame hold the weight without flinching. A skeleton on the inside, carrying the load walls on the outside, doing nothing but keeping the weather out. He drew up the plans that night. In 1885, the same year Dr. Pepper was born in Waco, the home insurance building rose 10 stories above the streets of Chicago. Steel skeleton on the inside, light window-filled walls on the outside. City officials were so alarmed they halted construction to investigate whether the thing would actually stand up. It stood up. It changed everything. Within a decade, cities across America were racing skyward. St. Louis, Philadelphia, the skyscraper became the signature of an American city. Bold, upward, reaching, built on the belief that whatever limit exists is just a problem waiting to be solved. America looked at the sky and didn't see a ceiling. It saw a starting point. Happy 250th, America. Keep building.
I never heard that story before. That's
I didn't know that I thought it started in New York. I was totally unfamiliar that it was in Chicago.
Well, you got to remember the Sears Tower, which was taller than the Empire State Building, was there in Chicago. But again, out of tragedy, you can be thankful for sometimes that somebody got ingenuity and got ideas.
Well, it's called American ingenuity for a reason. Was it being done somewhere else? No. It was being done in America, of somebody going, we have a need. Why don't we figure this out? And you think, 10 stories. Pfft, that's a nothing building.
Nothing. Yeah. Hospitals are taller than that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the skyscrapers in Dubai wouldn't be around if somebody in Chicago didn't
Lord,
scratch their
yes.
head and go.
That thing is unbelievably tall. I do not want to be on the top looking out going, oh.
And I'm imagining part of that was just rebar, right? I mean, it's part of the rebar and the steel girders and the whole thing. I mean, the fantastic ideas that came out of a lot of this stuff. So anyway, we hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble, or wherever you get podcasts.
And if all that's just hard to find, you can go and listen to us at our good old website of StayOffMyLawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
We'll see you next week, folks.
Toodles, and thanks again for telling a friend about us. We appreciate all the growth that you've caused us to have lately. So don't let up. Keep telling those friends, and we'll keep being goofy or PO'd as we were at the end of our episode today. We try to shake it up once in a while.
Every once in a while.
That's right. All right. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you again next week. Well, we had fun and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.